Good afternoon. I'm doing my best to do this earlier in the day so that just so that it's not bedtime when I get done. First of all, let me tell y'all, I've been meaning to stop by Rutledge Mercantile in Rutledge because I have heard they have excellent hamburgers, and I made it by today, and I'm just going to do a shameless plug. I believe those were the best bought hamburgers I have ever had. And I say that because I'm used to having real good homemade burgers. My brother-in-law David makes a real good burger, and other family members do. And this tasted like a homemade burger. It was delicious. So y'all swing by and get one. They're very good. And they did not pay me to say that. I also got some chocolate layer cake that tasted like my mother-in-law's. And if you've ever had Miss Darcy's chocolate layer cake, you know how good it is. The folks in Rutledge know how to cook. I'm just going to say that. And they did say that the cake was homemade, and I could just about tell you. I don't know who made it, but it was delicious. So good job, Rutledge Mercantile. Okay, so we're going to read Luke chapter 14. And as I said, I'm going to do my best to start doing this in the afternoons rather than wait until late in the afternoon. I do have a couple of unspoken prayer requests. I've got a friend who's in the hospital who's having a little bit more trouble than they first thought they were going to, and so I know that family would appreciate it. You don't have to know the names because God knows who it is. And I've also got someone who's just a family member had a pretty rough diagnosis, and I know they would appreciate the prayers as well. And again, we don't have to know who it is. All we have to know is somebody needs prayer, and we can pray, and the Lord will take care of it. So anyway, let's read Luke 14. Healing of a man on the Sabbath. One Sabbath, when he went to dine at the house of a ruler of the Pharisees, they were watching him carefully. And behold, there was a man before him who had dropsy. And Jesus responded to the lawyers and Pharisees, saying, "Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath or not?" But they remained silent. Then he took him and healed him and sent him away. And he said to them, "Which of you, having a son or an ox that has fallen into a well on a Sabbath day, will not immediately pull him out?" And they could not reply to these things. I don't know about anybody else, but if somebody I know falls in a well, I'm going to go help them out. And the same way with an animal. The Lord don't expect us, the Lord expects us to take care of people and not say, well, I can't do that because it's a holy day. But anyway, the parable of the wedding feast. Now he told a parable to those who were invited when he noticed how they chose the places of honor, saying to them, "When you are invited by someone to a wedding feast, do not sit down in a place of honor, lest someone more distinguished than you be invited by him, and he who invited you both will come and say to you, 'Give your place to this person,' and then you will begin with shame to take the lowest place. But when you are invited, go and sit in the lowest place, so that when your host comes, he may say to you, 'Friend, move up higher.' Then you will be honored in the presence of all who sit at table with you." Well, here's the thing. If all you're worried about is sitting in a place of honor, you're not there for the right reason anyway. But I'm pretty sure that was part of the point Jesus was trying to make. "For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted." The parable of the great banquet. He said also to the man who had invited him, "When you give a dinner or a banquet, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives or rich neighbors, lest they also invite you in return and you be repaid. But when you give a feast, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed, because they cannot repay you, for you will be repaid at the resurrection of the just." When one of those who reclined at table with him heard these things, he said to him, "Blessed is everyone who will eat bread in the kingdom of God." But he said to him, "A man once gave a great banquet and invited many. And at the time for the banquet, he sent his servants to say to those who had been invited, 'Come, for everything now is ready.' But they all alike began to make excuses. So let me give a little background for those that may not be familiar. Used to, if you wanted to give a big dinner or something, you would send word out to everybody that was invited and say, listen, I'm having a big supper or a party or a banquet or whatever, and I'm just letting you know so you can keep that in mind. And then the day of, when everything was ready, after they prepared all the food and everything, then he would send the host would send the servants out to say, okay, everything's ready, you need to come now. And so you should be expecting that and be ready, not plan other things, because you know it's going to be within a certain length of time, but you don't know exactly when. So you kind of stay close to home and make sure that you're available so that you don't miss out and be disrespectful to the person that invited you. But you didn't know for sure when it was until right before it was time. Okay. But they all alike began to make excuses. The first one said to him, I have bought a field, and I must go out and see it. Please have me excused. And another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I go to examine them. Please have me excused. And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come. So the servant came and reported these things to his master. Then the master of the house became angry and said to his servant, Go out quickly to the streets and the lanes of the city and bring in the poor and crippled and blind and lame. Okay, so again, this would be like the governor of the state inviting you to a big meal. It's an honor. And you want to reciprocate that by being in attendance if it's at all possible. So I'm thinking, let me go look at this field, or let me go look at these ox, or I just got married. Bring your wife with you. I mean, this was a big honor. And they were just making excuses. The servant said, Sir, what you have commanded has been done, and still there is room. And the master said to the servant, Go out to the highways and hedges and compel people to come in, that my house may be filled. For I tell you, none of those men who were invited shall taste my banquet. And now again, this was a thing of dishonor for the host, because they were expecting all these people, and they wanted to show how good a party they could throw, for example. They wanted everybody to be there. And so it was a dishonor to them not to have a good turnout. The cost of discipleship. Now great crowds accompanied him, and he turned and said to them, If anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. Now, that word hate there, that's not what it means. Is you shouldn't put anything before God. You shouldn't say, well, Lord, I can't serve you because I'm going to my parents' house. I can't do what you're asking me to do. Jesus is not asking us to abandon our families. He's asking us to show honor and love to them and take care of them. But when he's asked us to do something, that should come first. Whoever does not bear his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, when he has laid a foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, This man began to build and was not able to finish. Or what king, going out to encounter another king in war, will not sit down first and deliberate whether he is able with 10,000 to meet him who comes against him with 20,000? And if not, while the other is yet a great way off, he sends a delegation and asks for terms of peace. So therefore, any one of you who does not renounce all that he has cannot be my disciple. And salt without taste is worthless. Salt is good, but if salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored? It is of no use either for the soil or for the manure pile. It is thrown away. He who has ears, let him hear. Now that's the last of that. And just speaking of salt, we're supposed to be the salt of the earth. We're supposed to be light. We're supposed to present living water, and we're supposed to present the bread of life. But just a note on salt, I don't know. Randy was always, he loved him some salt. Now, I always let him cook the grits if we were going to have breakfast for supper. I always let him cook the grits because he wanted to make sure there was enough salt in them. I didn't salt mine as much as he did, and then I would add salt after I cooked it, but he wanted there to be enough salt in there to begin with. And if you've never tasted grits that were not salted at all, that is a sad experience, because the salt and butter really adds to the flavor. But if we're supposed to be salt, the salt of the earth, and our salt doesn't even really taste like salt, then we're nothing. We're no more than sand. But anyway, thank y'all for joining me this afternoon. Please pray for the people that I mentioned, and of course, if you've got prayer requests, you're welcome to let me know, and I'll pray with them too. I hope y'all have a good rest of the day. Please be careful if you have to be out in the heat, and just take care of yourselves, and I will see you tomorrow.